RPG 그대로의 RPG 불멸의 전사 2.
Welcome back to the SPL, guys. We're in the midst of KT Rolster versus Samsung Galaxy Con. Samsung is fighting for their playoff hopes here for a chance at the playoffs, but they're not doing so well.
Yeah, and we've got two really tough games for Samsung here. First of all, BrAvO versus Leenock on Overgrowth, and then following that is Solar versus Zest. And considering the form of Zest right now, it's going to be really hard for Samsung to take it to an ace match.
Yeah, I think nearly impossible. I hope Solar's got some really nice cheese prepared, because, like, the type of cheese that even Zest can't handle.
A sharp cheese?
A really, really sharp cheese, man. It's got to be, like, the sharpest thing you've ever smelled or tasted. It's got to be good. And I don't know if he's the type of player to do it, you know? I feel like there are... I don't know. Solar really is just... To be honest, he's disappointed me in a way that this season. You know, he started to do pretty good, but then kind of fell off again. And I'm like, you know, I wish he were back. Samsung would be such a better team if he were on, you know, if he were in a good form these days.
Yeah, I was like thinking if you went to a foreign event, I think the best gift for like a cheesy player would be like a platter of cheese.
Or like a really gross, smelly cheese, one of those. Just like, here you go.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy this. You're cheesy.
I love my whiny cheeses. But yeah, we see BrAvO here, team captain, looking actually quite confident. He did do very well against BrAvO, I believe, on King St. John Station. And I forgot which Zerg he played against. It might have been Curious, but he also beat him as well. So yeah, 1-1. Okay, so he lost 1-1.
And Leenock is not really having the best season. KT Rolster right now is really struggling to find that solid Zerg. They were using Losira, they were using Leenock. Nothing really was sticking.
Not even Zerg player, but a fourth player to hold the fort. Especially since Life and Flash left the team, they've been struggling to find that player. Sure, we had, as you said, Losira, Leenock. Jakji was tried last week. He got wrecked by Gumiho.
Well, Jakji is Terran, but as a fourth player, I see where you're coming from. It's like they've been lacking this for a while, you know. Even in the back in the day, I guess they had Flash. It was like a little, you know. But either way, let's take a look at the predictions. Only Tasteless and Wolf go for Leenock here. I feel like that's almost like KT team votes in a way, you know. It's not even like voting for Leenock here. They almost feel like KT is going to take this one.
Yeah, Leenock, more famous player than BrAvO, yeah, so maybe that would attribute to the vote as well.
It's definitely part of it, but BrAvo's been looking good. I feel like this is going to be a very even match, I would say. BrAvo's really been proving himself to be one of these better Terrans. He's constantly improving for the last 2 years. He's looking good, but guys, let's jump into game number 3 now for BrAvO versus Leenock. Up here in the top right, in the blue, the Terran player, he is BrAvO.
And spawning here at the bottom left on Overgrowth as the red Zerg for KT Rolster, it is Leenock.
Leenock rocking the reddish purple hair for a long time. He's not had the same exact shade. He even went like full purple and then full red at some point.
He went full no regret. I don't know if you've seen his hair, but it's like purple.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, Leenock, a very colorful character of Starcraft. Was on the FX Open team before back in day, and then for our Utopia, Fu. And then for you, yep. And then just been floating around. Now found a home in KT Rolster.
Yeah.
BrAvO, a ex-BrAvO player, was on the team Woongjin Stars, if you remember them, with SOS and Sulky. And then was on SK Telecom for like a small period of time, and then realized he wasn't going to get any playing time, so he transferred to Samsung, and it's kind of found a niche role with the Samsung team.
Yeah, he actually, I assume it was his choice, or maybe Samsung contacted him, but this was like probably the best team for him to go to be honest. Like, maybe CJ would have been okay too, because they're struggling to find someone like that because they've basically relied on like Hero and Biel for a lot of their matches.
Well,
for sure.
you have to remember that CJ did have much more depth to their team. They had players like Sora,
They had Byung.
like Trust, Byung, and not anymore. They're all gone. So unfortunately for CJ, their depth has been hamstrung.
We're talking about the players as the Korean commentators are like, whoa, it's a 3 CC here very quickly.
Yeah, my mind's completely blown, Brendan. But it makes sense on this map. Third base is pretty easy to take. Like, as we see in the Zerg versus Zergs, a lot of the players go for that fast third hatchery, so...
I just wonder if Leenock's not going to sniff this out. I mean, Leenock is one of these guys, a lot like Life, where it's like some of the best Zergling control in the game, and very not scared. He is not afraid at all to just turn on the heat and say, okay, I'm just going to go across the map and kill you.
Yeah.
So if he can identify this, maybe then, but it is going to be hard to identify at that.
Yeah, it feels like Leenock is one of those players molded similar to what Life was. They can play macro game, but if needed, they can punish really greedy builds with aggressive Zergling play. And it looks like this SV is going to get out, but he's actually going to see that there are a few Zerglings out here. And there's only 3 Marines here, so if BrAvO's not careful, it could lose these Marines and lose a few units.
Bunker's not done, but this is only 5 lings. Yeah, he's not going to commit to it here, but he may be tipped off, especially by that bunker where he's like, could be a very greedy build here, but he's just going to get that observer speed, or rather the overlord speed, and just continue droning up here.
Yeah, there's no reason not to get overlord speed in the non-mirror matchups. It's just very useful to get the detection on the intel of your opponent. As we see here from BrAvO, is actually going to get the factory with the reactor, and Leenock's going to scout this out.
Yep, easiest scout of his life. He's like, okay, get overlord speed. Hey, I could just chill in your base now. In fact, he's even harassing the front just a bit there. Continuing to drone up. He's already taken his third base. Looks like he's not going to go for a super aggressive all-in type of move just yet.
Yeah, Leenock is going to take that third base. We've seen in times in the past where the Zerg players would always take that third base at the gold base rather than at that natural third.
And Leenock was one of them.
Yeah, but it gets punished quite easily if the opponent does sniff it out. So it looks like Leenock's just playing it safe right here. As we see the reacted Hellions as well as 2 starports.
Double starport. Are we going to see the armory? Is this the TY build?
Yeah, we might see the TY build. We might see the Sky Terran that we saw Maru use. And you got to remember, back in Heart of the Storm, Mech was really popular on this map.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Is BrAvO like, aha, I can use this again? Mech not too common outside of that Sky Terran you were talking about. This gets scouted again. So Leenock very, very aware that this is coming across.
Yeah, he's actually getting the Banshee. He was getting Cloak, but he cancelled that. Actually, no, he's going to add 2 more barracks to this. I guess he just wants to get those Medivacs and those Libres out just quickly, more quickly than normal with those 2 starports.
Scan coming down here. Gonna see the double Evo chamber looking normal over there. Lair is started about now. He's been quite, I wouldn't call it greedy because he knew what was going on, but he's been very liberal with the amount of drones he's making, essentially only drones so far. He has 11 lings on the map, 5 queens, and 63 drones. So.
Well, he knows what he's up against. He's got a sizable amount of Hellions and a few Marines, and that's about it. So there's no real danger coming from BrAvO. So, of course, Leenock will use this advantage to drone up. And interesting to see a macro hatchery being placed there at the third base rather than... Oh, it's actually taking that 4th base as well. So it looks like Leenock just wants to cover the bottom of the map as quickly as possible.
He's just almost identified what's going on, and he's like, okay, I can be as greedy as humanly possible, literally. He's making some roaches here and there now, as he can even put on his own pressure with the roaches as well, but getting all the hatcheries. Even
take the 5th base. That's ridiculous.
And then, all the techs. Yeah. Hydra Den, Infestation Pit, whatever. Everything.
Yeah, and if BrAvO's not careful, he's going to allow this creep to spread across the map. And when you face against a Zerg player with Hive Tech, with, what, 6 bases, it's pretty impossible to deal with as a Terran.
Looks like he's beginning to put on some harass time. A very interesting composition there to harass 4 Hellions and 2 Banshees. Liberators have been pushed away, it seems, or at least scouted here, and he's not going to commit to it.
Yep. Macro Hatch is nearly done here from Leenock. And I'm really curious to think about the reasoning behind having that Macro Hatch there as opposed to having it in the main base or even at the main expansion. Maybe it's just there to help stop from Hellion run-bys, to help funnel in the case that Hellions do run through there. I just got
I mean, it's more towards the front, too, so it helps reinforce a little bit quicker. Maybe he just was looking there and he wanted a macro hatchery and he didn't think too much about the placement. I mean, a lot of different reasons it could have been. He's making even more drones. Like, he's going to go up to over 80 easily here.
Yeah, well, with all the bases that he has right now, and barely any actions happen so far, we're around 7.5 minutes into this game. It's very passive from both players.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I'm worried about for BrAvO, you know? Like, I feel like a lot of the times when he plays against certain opponents, they kind of play into his style, and he looks really good, and he's like, okay, I just got way ahead of you, and you were just playing safe, and it's like, okay. But up against Leenock, Leenock knew exactly what to do.
Oh, but here's a drop here from BrAvO, and it's going to demolish these roaches. And there's no drones here at the 5th base of Leenock, but does draw the army away, and it's going to be able to do damage here at the bottom right.
There are the drones stemming in other Marines, and he's going to be able to take out nearly every single one. As we said before, Leenock being very greedy, he doesn't really have much in the way of defense.
Yep, just going to pick up and just run away. That's a really nice play there from BrAvO. That being said, though, I know BrAvO has built that 4th command center at the main base, so he's probably going to drop that at the top right side, I guess. Oh, that
4 health.
Yeah. And looks like here, BrAvO is just going to readjust his rally positioning to help secure that 4th base, as the Spire and Ultralisk Cavern is going down here from Leenock.
So it looks like BrAvO on the chase now. Advanced Ballistics also being researched here. Just wants that very nice Marine Marauder Liberator kind of army. Added in a couple of Banshees. Didn't overcommit to that. Didn't get the speed as far as I know. Yeah. Has not picked that up yet, but I feel like he did the damage in the bottom right, but he's not. He needs to follow that up, you know? Force some more drones out and then maybe go for a follow-up attack.
Well, you notice the supply count. BrAvO's maxed out here. He can just go for an attack. I don't know what Leenock is waiting on. He's trying to take the fight here, but it's not going to be engageable because there are other Liberators out here for BrAvO.
He's only got Roach Hydra against this kind of bio force. Now, Leenock's army is 2-2 to 1-1, of course, but just Roach bio against this is not going to do that good of a job.
Well, I think he was waiting for the Ultralisk Cavern to come up and build Ultralisk, but he has no gas to build Ultralisk, so he's going to lose his 5th base. And BrAvO's looking in a very comfortable position. He's got his 4th base quite secure, but here's the Vipers.
Oh, the Vipers coming in. They're going to grab all these Liberators. There's more in the back, but still a lot of Hydras remain. Looks like he is going to push forward now. Not so much bio left over, and Leenock is going to hold, but BrAvO with the follow-up push. The rest of the army coming across.
And now BrAvO can just parade across the map with his army. Look at the line of blue just coming across.
There it is, the parade push. We've known it. We've loved it. Leenock not loving it so much in this game. A lot of that bio very weak, but still more to come as Leenock gets caught in the transition to Ultras.
Yeah. I mean, Vipers, sure, they're pretty cool, but they were a bit too little too late. And his Liberator is just dealing so much damage here.
Yeah, it looks like Leenock finally amounting some kind of defense here is going to just barely hold on. But he has taken damage. He's sustained a lot of damage. He can't really transition into Ultras here. He's just making only Hydras. Does have to remake that 5th base now.
Yeah, and you got to remember that the lava that was spent from Leenock was mostly to re-drone because he lost so many drones there at the bottom right side of the map. So BrAvO is looking very comfortable, as I said before. He just got to keep on applying the pressure to Leenock.
Yeah, just needs to group up. I feel like he got a little bit ahead of himself there, getting right up against that macro hatchery we were talking about. Was very good in terms of reinforcing, as you notice, you know, lots of the units coming right out there ready to defend. But yeah, I mean, Leenock has held on, so it looks like BrAvO may have been able to take that one, but just barely. Leenock holds on, and now he's got Ultras coming out. He's got the Greater Spire on the way. Chitin is plating. He's in a decent spot himself now.
And there's so many Zerglings here to help dish additional DPS with these Ultralists that are about to come out, and we all know how hard it is to deal with the plus armored Ultralists, so it feels like a ticking time bomb. That being said, though, the Ultralists only have the +2 regular Carapace upgrade. They don't have any melee attacks right now, so their main purpose is just to tank the incoming army of BrAvO.
They do that AoE damage. You got stuff in the back, as you were saying. They're mainly just the tanks, but BrAvO, it seems like he's preparing for the Ultras pretty hardcore. He's getting the Ghosts out. He added more Widow Mines into the mix. He's up to 6 now. But is he going to be ready for the Broodlord transition? That's the question.
I thought he was going to go for a surround there. Leenock actually abducts the medevac as this Zergling run by.
Oh, because the Ghost! Oh man, but they do survive. That was so crazy.
Oh my god.
I thought he was going to kill them all.
If he lost all those Ghosts, that would have been huge for BrAvO, for Leenock. They survived, which is a very lucky play there from BrAvO.
He like freaked out because that was the most perfect surround of all time.
And I'm actually not sure why Leenock just moved forward. Gosh, that was amazing.
Yeah, nice little pick off there. Looks like 4 Marauders into the main, but should be able to be cleaned up eventually here.
Yeah. But as I mentioned before, I don't know why Leenock didn't continue to take out those Ghosts. He decided to go into the expansion. The slight lapse of judgment there, I guess, but not too big of a deal from Leenock as BrAvO's pushing in again.
Oh man, everything goes in the main to defend, and BrAvO gets this really nice setup and sees the Broodlord. Snipes coming down, gets the Broodlord, at least one of them.
It feels like Leenock wants to do a Leenock's arc here, 2 of every unit. I know, we just got to wait to see the Swarm Host.
Yeah, not sure how effective that will be, but looks like Leenock wants to perhaps counterattack now as he's taking more bases, but BrAvO is not biting the bait. He hasn't seen it. He's just going to set up, deny another base, keep Leenock on 4.
I'm not really sure why Leenock decided to transition to the Broodlords rather than just staying with the Ultralists. Maybe he's just really scared of those Ghosts with the snipe ability. As you see here, a small crack group of units, I guess, from BrAvO. Just going to snap some creep tumors. He does deny that gold base, though, so...
Yeah, that's really what this is all about. Leenock is struggling right now. He doesn't have much of a bank of gas at all. And here we go. BrAvO pulling in here. He wants to go for the fight. The Liberator setting up now.
Oh, these Liberators doing so much work. These units of Leenock cannot approach the army of BrAvO. And BrAvO looking so good right now.
All the snipes on the Broodlords get them so low to the point where he can get forward, but he doesn't have enough anti-air here. It's all Marauders. He's making 8 Marines at a time now, but he needs to regroup here.
Yeah, but the gold base was sniped out by BrAvO, and look at the minerals on the bases of Leenock. The main base, the expansion, the 3rd base, they're nearly mined out. Leenock only has that 4th base at the bottom right.
Yeah, and he can't really even mine gas. Like, he's mining from his natural.
Look at BrAvO's bank. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insane. Whereas Leenock's gas is at 300 right now.
Yeah, I mean, it'll take a catastrophe for BrAvO to lose this game.
Well, let's see if he doesn't have an answer for these Broodlords this time around. It looks like he's got
these Widow Mines just crawling through. So cute.
Yeah, coming on in. Gonna come down now. Snipes going down. Gets one of the Broodlords.
Yeah. We got more snipes coming in on the Broodlords.
Clouds. Yeah. I love that, especially with all of that, essentially siege fire from the Broodlords in the back.
But there's so many Liberators here, but he's not just going to use them for the anti-air capabilities. Going to use that splash attack of the Liberators. And now he's deploying.
Now he deploys, and he's on top of this army. All the Hydras are going to be taken out here. As long as he can kill those Broodlords on top, one Ultra is going to come in and eat so much of that damage, but still nothing on the ground here for Leenock to deal with this bio.
Yeah, and looks like slowly but surely BrAvO's moving forward. It's going to take out this gold base. But there's no anti-air here for BrAvO to deal with these Broodlords, so...
Again...
I think BrAvO should have just dropped that 4th base and just dealt with it. with those Marauders, because those
Yeah.
Marauders are pretty much useless.
I mean, as well as the fact that like it's only Broodlords right now for Leenock, so he could easily just go around them.
And doesn't BrAvO have those 2 starports still? I think Vikings would be the better option rather than those Liberators.
Yeah, either way, just gonna push in once again. Here's the follow-up. There are 2 Ultralists that are in fact gonna help out a lot here. Third one joining the party.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just laughing because it feels like BrAvO doesn't really know how to deal with these Broodlords. And these Broodlords is what keeping Leenock in the game.
To be honest, this is like the difference between like a high mid-level player and like a higher tier player. Like someone like TY would have ended this game maybe like 3-4 minutes ago, but BrAvO just can't seem to find out a way. Like BrAvO right now, he could be dropping the 4th. He could be dropping.
He could drop the main and kill all the tech.
He could have had better fights. He could have like not overcommitted. Right? There's a lot of things that he's not perfect at, but he's still ahead in this game.
Yeah,
very far ahead.
There's no doubt he's still ahead. But if he gives Leenock enough time to get this gold base up, he won't be ahead. He'll just give Leenock time to reestablish. But as I mentioned, here's the drop here at the main base. He's going to snipe some tech out.
Yeah, looks like he's listening to our cast as the drops come in here. And BrAvO beginning to realize that he needs to pull this army apart. Here we go.
Binding Cloud, the pulls, getting those Liberators out. So there's no Liberators in his army, but I don't think it matters. Just too much bio here.
Yep, no Blinding Clouds, and I think this should be
There's
it. The mule's coming down, and now he's got enough anti-air to take out these Broodlords. GG! And Samsung's hopes stay alive. BrAvO wins against Leenock.
Yeah, sick game there from BrAvO. Taking out all those drones there at the 4th base. Denying that 5th base as well. I think that initial fight at the 5th base where he had such a good concave, and before those Vipers came out for Leenock, didn't get those pulls in time. Libre's doing a lot of damage, and I guess Leenock couldn't recover after losing that the drones at the 4th and then the 5th base.
Yeah, so KT gave Leenock a chance, right? They're like, okay, playing game number 3, you'll definitely play tonight. You're not in game number 4. But now it's Zest up in that 4th place position. He's gonna go up against Solar, and he is one of the heaviest favorites here. And that's not even to go to, like, that's not to say too much bad about Solar. It's really just praising Zest at this point. Looking unbeatable at this point in time.
It feels like Solar is like Alive, like Beyond, like Patience. He's one of those players that excelled very well at the start of Legacy at Void, but he's just completely dropped off the map since. And don't get me wrong, Solar is a very talented player, but we just haven't seen him as often as we should expect from him in Pro League because he just hasn't been performing as of late.
Yeah, they really needed him to step up in order to have Samsung be more consistent as a team. Really, whenever we think of Samsung now, it's all about Deer. And in the past, it was Solar. Deer was still there, but he was like that inconsistent guy, right? He wasn't constantly winning. He's definitely stepped his game up as Solar stepped his game down, but other guys are beginning to come through, like Reality. We talked about him. He's doing a lot better. BrAvo's looking really good, too. But if they had Solar, man, that would be a really solid team.
Yeah. So it's probably going to take nothing short of a miracle for Solar to win this game against Zest. Yeah. That being said, though, the map is Lilac Crest. If we see horizontal spawns from both players, I would not surprised to be seeing a Roach Ravager all-in from Solar.
Yeah, that might be the way to do it, you know? It's one of those things that if you execute it really well and the Protoss is taken aback, maybe Zest doesn't expect it, and all of a sudden Solar just runs in there and kills him. It's like, well, Zest didn't have a chance at the beginning because he got build order counter because he didn't see it coming.
Or you could see, if you remember that game, I don't know if I was casting it with you, it was Zest against Departure on the same map. And Departure just Zest just moved his Adepts to the middle of nowhere and got his army flanked, and then Departure just won from there.
Oh.
It was quite a silly mistake. Like it was an un-Zest mistake from Zest. But I doubt we'll see something like that happen again. I'm pretty sure Zest will be completely professional about this upcoming game.
Yeah, I mean, this is important, right? You want to be in the second place spot so you don't have to play in that first game on Monday.
Yeah.
They will get to play on Tuesday instead against whoever wins the 3rd versus 4th place match.
You got to remember, Samsung have to win this game to be in the playoffs, or else CJ will advance.
Yeah. And to be honest, like you think about Jin Air Green Wings when they were in this kind of rough spot, and like Rogue would be up in the ace match against Zest, and we're like, Zest should be able to win this easily, right? But then you think about Rogue, he's really, tricky. He's got these cool kind of builds. Guys, sudden 3-minute break. We'll be right back.